Teotihuacan, city of gods, abode of titans, place where gods were born. That's what the Aztecs called this majestic, now silent metropolis when they came to the Valley of Mexico many centuries after its mysterious and tragic abandonment. One of the largest and certainly most enigmatic cities of ancient America, whose colossal pyramids, wide avenues and monumental palaces, even in ruins, still captivate the imagination, evoke awe, and make us reflect on the greatness and fragility of civilizations. But who were those skilled craftsmen, those brilliant architects, those tireless builders who erected this stone giant? Who inhabited these palaces and squares? What language was spoken on these streets? And most importantly, the most tormenting, most intriguing question, where did all these people, the builders of Teotihuacan, disappear to, leaving behind only majestic but silent stones that keep the secret of their departure? Today we embark on a fascinating and perhaps somewhat melancholic journey to the very heart of Mexico, to the foot of grandiose pyramids, to try to solve one of the most captivating, most intriguing mysteries of pre-Columbian America, the mystery of the disappearance of the people who built Teotihuacan, people whose name we don't even know. Prepare for a journey deep into the centuries, to ruins that remember greatness and glory but remain silent about the causes of tragedy. Teotihuacan is located approximately 50 kilometers northeast of modern Mexico City, the capital of Mexico, in a picturesque valley surrounded by mountains. This city emerged, according to archaeologists, about 2,200 years ago, that is, in the 1st century before our era, and for several centuries, roughly until the 6th, 7th centuries of our era, was the largest, most influential metropolis of its time, not only in Mexico, but throughout Mesoamerica, a cultural historical region that includes the territories of modern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Teotihuacan was the center of a powerful empire whose political, economic, and cultural influence spread over vast territories, hundreds of kilometers around. The population of this ancient metropolis, according to various scholarly estimates, range from 100 to 200 and possibly up to 250,000 people. A truly colossal, incredible figure for that time, comparable to the population of the largest European cities of that period. The city, even in its current, half-ruined state, impresses with its monumentality, its grandeur, its meticulously detailed planning. Wide, straight as an arrow streets intersecting at right angles, huge squares, probably intended for religious ceremonies and public gatherings, residential quarters consisting of multi-apartment building complexes, temple complexes, administrative buildings, and of course, the hallmark of Teotihuacan, its main attractions, the world-famous pyramids, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, some of the largest pyramids not only in America, but worldwide. The Pyramid of the Sun, for example, the larger of the two, stands about 65 meters tall, approximately the height of a 20-story building, with a base measuring 225 by 222 meters. Imagine for a moment the scale of this colossal structure, the volume of construction work, the amount of labor expended, the level of engineering knowledge required to erect such a giant. And all this was built without the use of metal tools, without wheeled vehicles, without draft animals. But the most amazing, most astonishing, most intriguing thing about Teotihuacan is that we, modern people, armed with advanced technologies and scientific methods, know practically nothing about its creators, about those very people who erected these pyramids, built these palaces, laid out these streets. We don't have their self-designation, that is, what they called themselves, nor their written sources that could tell us about their history, their culture, their beliefs, their daily life. Everything, absolutely everything we know about them. We know, thanks to many years of painstaking archaeological excavations that have been conducted in Teotihuacan for more than 100 years, since the late 19th century. Archaeologists, removing the earth layer by layer, have discovered and continue to discover a multitude of diverse artifacts: ceramic vessels decorated with paintings and reliefs, frescoes covering the walls of palaces and temples, stone and clay sculptures depicting gods and people, elegant jewellery made of jade, obsidian, shells, household items, tools, weapons. All these countless findings allow us to form some, albeit incomplete, understanding of the life, daily routine, culture, art and religion of the Teotihuacanos. We know they were skilled craftsmen, talented artists, experienced builders, and capable farmers. We know they conducted active trade with other peoples of Mesoamerica, exchanging goods, technologies, ideas, and possibly cultural influences. We know they worshipped various deities, among which a special place was held by the feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl, whose cult was subsequently borrowed by the Aztecs and other peoples of central Mexico. We know that Teotihuacan had a complex social hierarchy, that the city was home not only to ordinary craftsmen and farmers, but also priests, military leaders, officials, and rulers. But here's the main question, the most tormenting question, the question that has troubled scientists for many decades. Who were these people? The builders of Teotihuacan? Where did they come from to the Valley of Mexico? And most importantly, where did they disappear to? Why did they abandon their prosperous city, leaving it at the mercy of fate, time, and the elements? This question remains open, unresolved, and perhaps will never be definitively answered. The Aztecs, who came to the Valley of Mexico in the 14th century, many centuries after Teotihuacan was abandoned, found it already deserted, half-ruined, forsaken by its inhabitants. They were struck by the majesty of the ruins, the power of the pyramids, the grandeur of the entire complex. They believed that this city was built not by humans but by gods or giants in immemorial mythical times, and gave it the name Teotihuacan, which in translation from the Nahuatl language, the language of the Aztecs, means the place where gods are born, or the city of gods. There are several main theories, several hypotheses attempting to explain the mysterious disappearance of the Teotihuacanos, to solve the riddle of their departure. One of the most widespread and perhaps most plausible is the theory of internal conflict, social explosion, uprising. According to this theory, in Teotihuacan, as in many other ancient societies, there existed strong social inequality, a gulf between the wealthy, privileged elite, priests, rulers, military leaders, and the common people, craftsmen, farmers, builders. This inequality, accumulating over centuries, could eventually lead to a social explosion, to an uprising of the lower strata of the population against the elite, to a civil war that destroyed the city, led to its decline and abandonment. Evidence for this theory includes traces of fires, destruction, desecration discovered by archaeologists in some parts of the city, especially in the area of the so-called Citadel, a large complex that was presumably the residence of Teotihuacan's rulers, the center of its political and religious power. Another theory, also having the right to exist, links the decline and demise of Teotihuacan with a sharp change in climate, with the onset of a prolonged period of drought. In the 6th-7th centuries of our era, as paleoclimatic studies show, Mesoamerica did indeed experience a period of severe and prolonged drought, which could have led to crop failures, famine, shortage of drinking water, and consequently to social upheavals, mass migrations of the population, wars over resources, and ultimately to the decline and demise of entire cities and civilizations. A third theory, which also cannot be discounted, speaks of an invasion of enemies, of the conquest of Teotihuacan by some other, stronger and more warlike people who came from outside, from the north or south. Perhaps Teotihuacan, weakened by internal conflicts and climatic changes, became easy prey for conquerors who destroyed the city, killed or enslaved its inhabitants. However, direct, irrefutable evidence of this theory has not yet been found. There are no traces of a large-scale battle, siege, or storming of the city that could testify to its conquest. There are no mass graves of fallen warriors, no traces of destruction characteristic of a military attack. There are also more exotic, more fantastic theories explaining the disappearance of the Teotihuacanos. Some researchers link this event to epidemics of deadly diseases that could have devastated the city, to volcanic eruptions that could have made the Valley of Mexico uninhabitable, or even to contacts with extraterrestrial civilizations, with aliens who allegedly took the Teotihuacanos with them to another planet. But these theories, as a rule, find no support in the serious scientific community, are considered marginal, pseudoscientific. Most likely, the truth, as often happens in history, lies somewhere in the middle, at the intersection of several factors. Probably the decline, demise, and abandonment of Teotihuacan was influenced by several causes acting simultaneously or sequentially: internal contradictions, social inequality, uprisings, climate change, droughts, crop failures, famine, possibly some external threats, enemy invasions, epidemics. But which of these factors was decisive, main, determining? We may never know, never be able to say with complete certainty. The Teotihuacanos, unlike the Maya or Aztecs, left behind no written evidence, no texts that could tell us about their history, their culture, their fate. They left, disappeared, dissolved in time, leaving behind only majestic but silent ruins that still keep their silence, keep the secret of their departure. And this silence, this mystery, makes Teotihuacan one of the most attractive, most enigmatic, most alluring archaeological monuments in the world, a place that draws researchers, tourists, history enthusiasts, and just adventure seekers from all over the world. Thank you for being with us on this fascinating, educational, and somewhat sad journey to the ruins of Teotihuacan, to the foot of its grandiose pyramids. We tried to lift the veil of mystery over the disappearance of its builders, over the enigma of their departure. But, alas, a final, exhaustive answer is not yet available and perhaps never will be. If you liked this video, if you learned something new, if you pondered the eternal questions about the life and death of civilizations, don't forget to like, leave your comment, share your thoughts, your impressions, your versions. What do you think? Where did the builders of Teotihuacan actually disappear to? And of course, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new investigations, new journeys into the world of mysteries and riddles of history, new discoveries and hypotheses. Share this video with friends, discuss, debate, because, as is known, truth is born in debate, and truth is always somewhere nearby. You just need to know how to look for it and not be afraid to ask questions. Until we meet again.